What is going on, guys? Welcome back on BlockGems. On BlockGems, we talk about non-fungible tokens, and today we're going to discuss Mooncat Rescue. We have talked about Mooncat Rescue already in one of the previous videos on this channel. So if you're not familiar with this project, if you don't know what this project is all about, what is there to collect, if it is interesting or not to invest in Mooncats, and in general, if you want to learn more about the basics of this interesting initiative, you can find a video in one of the cards above that I will link above. And today what I want to discuss in particular is a strategy that might allow us to identify some rarity traits, some cats that are more rare than others within the overall pool of the Mooncats that have been minted, that are available. So if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. This would be a great moment also to hit the like button and turn the notification bell on. So what I want to discuss with you is the topic of rarity, as I mentioned. And in the previous video that I recorded, I discussed the fact that there are mainly two categories of Mooncats. One is the Genesis pool, so the Genesis cats, and the other category is the non-Genesis, basically all the other cats that are available. The Genesis cats can only be black or white. All the other cats can have all different colors that we can see here, basically. Now, there are only 96 Genesis cats in existence. And of course, due to their rarity, the price is much, much higher. There are also other factors that contribute to the rarity and also to the price tag that we see today in the secondary market. And we will discuss that in a second. But in the video that I recorded a week ago, I said, okay, we do not know if there are particular attributes that make the non-Genesis cats more or less rare. They're all the same. And I wanted to investigate this statement. I wanted to see if we could identify some traits that would make some specific subset of non-Genesis cats more rare than others in order for us to command a higher price. So I was on the lookout for some data about Mooncats, and there is something that I found. This guy, Gerald B, is an absolute legend, and so big shout out to him, because he has collated a lot of data regarding Mooncats. So basically, all the Mooncats in existence have been put together in a data set, and so we can have a granular view of which cat has which attribute. So what I did for you guys, I put everything in a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet in this case, and I will link this sheet in the description below, so that, for instance, you can look up the cat that you have by ID and see the characteristics of that specific cat. More than that, as I mentioned already a couple of times, there was something that I wanted to find out. I said, is there a group of characteristics that is going to dictate some sort of rarity, some sort of tiers in terms of frequency of that specific characteristic? So it turns out that there are some characteristics such as pose, face, and fur, which have four different traits each. In other words, there are 4 different poses, 4 different faces that a cat can have, and 4 different fur types. So if we have 4 possibilities each, it means that there are 64 possible patterns. Now, the question that we're trying to answer then becomes, amongst these 64 patterns, is there any that is much less frequent than the others? Because if that is the case, then we do find a pattern for rarity. And so if you remember from the previous video, I mentioned that this is a generative art project. This means that whenever you were minting something, you wouldn't know what you were going to get. You wouldn't know the shape of the cat or the design of the cat that you would have got. And as this was sort of as rolling the dice, you might expect that these traits are evenly distributed amongst all of them. And I think that this was the intention. However, one thing is the theory, one thing is the practice, right? Even when you roll a dice, you have equal probabilities per each face. However, if you roll a dice, 60 times, you're not going to have exactly the same proportions across each face, right? These things can vary. So let's look about this frequency for the non-Genesis cats. Now, what it turns out, and that I found very interesting here, and this graph will be available to you. It's a bit crude. I realize that it's a bit crude, but it is something that so far, at least for what I could research, is something completely original. Now, maybe somebody did it yesterday and I wasn't able to research it and to find it online, or has been very good in hiding. But as far as I know, this content I'm presenting to you is fairly original. And what I'm showing here is the pattern distribution, trying to spot a pattern that is much less frequent than others, for instance. And it turns out that the pattern number 41, for instance, exists only in 340 cats. Whereas the pattern 58 existed in 479 cats. Make what you want of this. If I was the owner of the cat with pattern 41, well, I would want to command a higher price, slightly higher, not too much higher because it's not too dramatic of a difference, but still this one compared to other buckets, other beans, is less frequent. Same could be said for pattern 20. However, the differences are not so dramatic. So unfortunately, this is a finding, but it's not as rewarding as I would have liked it to be. Now, if you were wondering how a cat with a pattern 41 looks like, they look like this one. I'm not talking about color. I'm talking about the eyes, the shape of the face, the position in which they are in. And if you're wondering, if you own one of these, what you have to do is just take the ID of the mooncat that you have, search in the data, and see which pattern you have. Now, so much about non-Genesis cats. There is also an interesting finding when it comes to Genesis cats, or at least something that I personally found interesting. Again, this is a rather crude finding. It's a rather crude graph and looks really ugly. However, I think it's informative because it just shows that for these 96 cats that are in existence, there are some duplicates, quote unquote. So some of them are the traits of some of them are absolutely unique, meaning that these patterns that we discuss exist in only one Genesis cat. And this is for pattern 32. There is only one cat that has pattern 32, 33, 34, and so on up until 64. There is only one cat that has it. However, for other Genesis cats, you have two specimens, if you like this expression, that have these specific characteristics, these specific patterns. However, they still are unique, these ones here, because one of these two for each pattern faces left and one faces right. So all the Genesis cats are unique, but let's say some are more unique than others. And this is because these ones here that have these patterns here are not differentiated because of left and right. They are unique because they are the only one in existence with that set of attributes. So guys, I hope that this video gave you some insights about the stuff that you own. If you're a collector in Mooncat Rescue, you can go ahead, use this spreadsheet and look up what you have and see the kind of rarity that your cat has or that your cats have. And I hope that this will help you to do your research and might help you for some of the ambitions in your collections that you might have. And if that is the case, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Remember, none of this is investment advice. I just hope that this was useful to you. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.